Now to start off with a banger, okay? Research Coin is a coin that I talked about last year, and I talked about it on July 26th of 2024. It was only sitting at a $14.7 million market cap. And there's me right there. There's my pretty face. Now, if you didn't know, Research Coin is currently sitting at a $77 million market cap. And we also got as high as $143 million. Now, why the hell is this important and why should you care? Research Coin is co-founded by Brian Armstrong. If you don't know who that is, he is the CEO and founder of the second largest crypto exchange on the planet. And this is his other coin and his new venture. Now, this is a super slept on altcoin. The fact that someone like Brian Armstrong is the founder of this altcoin and it's only sitting at a $77 million market cap, I don't see why you haven't already bought this token. Like, in the last 10 seconds, you should just bought the token. Like, I don't know why you're waiting. Now, these are the types of altcoin plays that you get into early when you subscribe to my channel. So put those notification bells on and let's get into the next altcoin. Now, Arkham is the next altcoin on this list, and it actually does two very crucial things. The first being that it is a new crypto exchange. It's a new exchange, and it had a massive spike in volume, which we're going to get into in a moment. But as usual, it's just another crypto exchange. A lot of people are actually using it, which is one of the biggest key features, but this isn't even the reason why I am bringing you Arkham today. There's a way bigger reason why I'm telling you about this altcoin. Now, Arkham takes all the data that's on chain on places like Etherscan, and they provide the information in a nice, clean, clear-cut way. So it can track individuals, it can track the activity of institutions as well. And it helps you read and follow the different transactions from these individuals and these institutions. And I'm gonna give you one institution and one individual that I know you've probably heard of before. I can almost bet my life savings on it. Now, one of those individuals is actually Alex Becker. Okay, now Alex Becker is one of the largest, if not the largest, crypto influencer that we have on Twitter and crypto YouTube. And you can see here that Arkham is actually tracking one of his wallets here. I typed in Alex Becker's name in the search bar and it gave me one of his wallets. Now, you can actually come down here and see a breakdown of where he keeps a lot of his assets. He has some stuff on Coinbase, about 2.7 million, and so on and so forth. One of the main reasons why I use it is because I like to see a lot of the tokens that he's holding. He's holding Desync, right? That's a major one that he talks about in a lot of his videos. He's holding ETH and Link. Those are other big ones that he talks about a lot. And you can pretty much go down this list and see a lot of the tokens that he's previously talked about, Pendle as well, and the value of how much he's actually holding of some of these tokens and assets in this particular wall, of course. And obviously it's going to give you a breakdown of when he's last interacted with this particular wallet and some of the transactions that he's done. The institution that I want to track today using Arkham is World Liberty Fund. Now, we all should know what this is by now. This is the Trump Family Fund, and this is their company. And you can see a lot of the assets that they hold here and what they're actually doing with a lot of these assets. Now, they have a little bit more diversity as far as the type of investments that they do with this particular wallet. They're not just singly investing. They're actually staking a lot of assets as well on this wallet. And you can see the value of a lot of the tokens they hold. They hold a lot of Mantle. They hold a lot of EOS. They hold a lot of Ondo, which I talked about in the last video. If you haven't seen that altcoin video, it's the very last video I dropped. Go and watch that as well. And if you come down here to the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that they have about $85 million locked in Aave, earning a yield on the Ethereum network, which is crazy. Now, if you're not convinced just yet, we're going to take a look at an article that dropped on CoinDesk. The company raised about $12 million from investors, including OpenAI and founder Sam Altman. If you don't know who that is the founder of ChatGPT. ChatGPT, the guy who owns ChatGPT and founded ChatGPT, is interested in Arkham Intelligence. That's just one name. You're also talking about a VC investor in Peter Thiel, who is the co-founder of PayPal, but not only PayPal, we're also talking about Palantir. Now, if you know, I got into Palantir in 2020. It was in October of 2020, and I've made some pretty good money since then. But that's besides the point. Not to mention major companies like Coinbase and Wintermute and DCG, which is Digital Currency Group. This is crazy. Now, to give you a little insight on who some of these guys are and what kind of money they're holding and why this is important, you have to understand that PayPal is worth $67 billion in market cap, and Palantir is currently worth $437 billion in market cap. So if you have people at that level that are interested in Arkham, you should at least do the research about Arkham to see if it's something that you should invest in. If these people with this much notoriety are investing in Arkham Intelligence, okay? Now, one more guy by the name of Tim Draper, who is a venture capitalist as well. He's an investor. He got into a lot of early stage investments and he's made a killing doing so in the stock market, is also interested in Arkham Intel. And that guy, Tim Draper, is worth about $3.6 billion. That should tell you something. It should tell you just a little bit. Now, like I said, the last thing that I'm going to say about Arkham until we get into the next altcoin is that it retroactively is being used by the government and authorities to find different crypto heists and different solicitations of crypto. And they're using the technology to track down where this money's flowing and eventually going to be able to use it to find different criminals, which is also a good thing because nobody likes to lose their crypto, right? So if we have a way to track down some of these nefarious actors in the space, more power to you, right? Now, quickly before we get into the next altcoin, I want to show you the amount of trading volume, and it spiked up recently a lot after that exchange was operational, and about $93 million in trading volume in 24 hours is absolutely nuts for a newer exchange. And it's currently only sitting at a $283 million in market cap. So we're not too late to something like Arkham either. And if you wanted to go and pick up Arkham, you could also find it on Kraken, Binance, Gate.io, Bybit, OKX, and you can also find it on Coinbase. Now, the next altcoin on this list is a RWA play, okay? And this is Maple Finance. Now, Maple Finance was brought to us by a subscriber. I'll put his comment up on screen. Shout out to you. This is why you comment in the sections about different altcoins you want me to talk about, because we may find a gem, and I thank him for that. So just a quick rundown on what Maple Finance does and why it's significant. Maple Finance allows for asset management on chain, okay? And secure expert-led financial products for individuals and institutions. Now you can borrow and lend and earn a yield on Maple Finance. They currently have over $3.3 billion under asset management. They work with Circle, Coinbase, Bitwise, who are some of the biggest names that are associated with this platform. You can currently earn around 7% on their SERP USD pair, which is pretty good. And you can have collateralized loans using crypto as well, which is actually pretty cool. Now, if you want to have Bitcoin yield or blue chip yield or higher yield with their stable coins, you can also do that here and back that with your BTC or your ETH or some of the other top altcoins in the space. Now, understanding that they also have a ton of people borrowing money on this platform, about 8.72 billion, which are also earning fees from, which is one of the other use cases for something like Maple Finance. We cannot get away from the fact that stablecoins are here to stay after the Genius Act. And for you to understand how important Maple Finance is, I need to break down the importance of stablecoins. And this is one of the platforms that offers a lot of use cases for stablecoins going into our new financial future. Big institutions are making stablecoins, big banks are making stablecoins, big companies are making stablecoins. Donald Trump and his administration just accelerated the pace of stablecoin regulation. You also have Larry Fink from BlackRock that manages about $12.5 trillion in assets, is big on stablecoins and tokenization. And a lot of the regulatory framework is being built out around the stablecoin market. So a lot of money, I'm talking trillions of dollars, are going to start to flow into stablecoins. And in the light of this maturing infrastructure, like I just talked about, the circulation of stablecoins is growing. The value of issued stablecoins has doubled from 250 billion to around 120 billion just 18 months ago. And it's forecasted to reach more than 400 billion by year end, right? This is within the next 5 months. And it's also set up to reach around 2 trillion by 2028, which I think is a very conservative number considering where we're going. Now, just to back up what I was saying before about stablecoins, you can see how much money is in stablecoins and how many different companies are in stablecoins. You have World Liberty Fi USD, which is the altcoin that we talked about, that we followed in Arkham Intel earlier in the video, the Trump Family Fund. You also have PayPal now that has a stable coin, right? You have Ripple USD, which is one of the largest market caps we have in crypto. They have a stable coin. We also have a Euro stable coin that is pegged to the Euro dollar. You have Ondo as well down here. So you have all these massive companies that are putting money and interest into the stablecoin market. And this market is only going to continue to grow. And if you were here earlier, you're going to benefit dearly from this. Now, looking here on Google, you can see because stablecoin issuers will be buying lots of short-term treasuries, it will help the US government fund its growing annual deficits. Now, one way I believe they're going to do this is by facilitating these stablecoins globally and having the ability for people to buy treasury bills and also buy treasury bonds via blockchain using stablecoins and different infrastructure built out on blockchain. Now, if you don't know what a treasury bill is or a treasury bond is, it's pretty much simply said you loaning your money out to the government and incurring a yield or a interest for doing so. Now, the reason why I also believe the stablecoin market is going to continue to grow is because this is the world debt clock. And you can see here the US national debt is sitting at $37 trillion. $37 trillion. And this number is only going to continue to accelerate over the years, which means they're going to need to find more buyers for these treasury bills and these treasury bonds. And the only way that it makes sense to me that they're going to be able to facilitate this is through stablecoins. The current financial system is too centralized and it's not built to be able to facilitate all these transactions instantaneously globally to the other 7.6 billion people that don't reside in the United States of America. So just for a reference point, Maple Finance is sitting at a $524 million market cap. They have about $72 million in trading value. They have over $1.9 billion in TVL locked on the platform. We saw about 3.3 on their platform, which is just under a 4x in market cap to TVL growth. So I expect this to be at around a 1-for-1. That's what we usually see when it comes to most tech companies and what we've seen in prior market cycles as well. And if you were looking to buy Maple Finance, you can pick it up on Kraken, Binance, Coinbase Exchange, Gate.io, BitUnix, 2Bit. You can pick it up pretty much anywhere where you would find your other larger crypto assets. Do me a favor and like the video if you found any value at all. Subscribe to the channel because the next video is going to be a deep alt pick that I've never shared on my channel before. This is going to be one of my biggest bags as I begin to accumulate it, of course. You're not going to want to miss it. So thank you for watching. I love you guys and I'll see you in the next one.